Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited to bring you a video that I have had planned for months and months, and I'm finally sitting down to film this video. And basically this idea that I had was to read one of my favorite content creators, some of her books that she talks a lot about on her channel and that she recommends, and that content creator is Murphy Napier. If you have not checked out her channel, I'll link it below. I like her a lot because she has a good variety, and I also just find her very entertaining, and yeah, she is one of my favorites. So you know, this is not necessarily a new concept, like reading other people's favorites, but I thought, you know, why not do it with some of mine? So I have several different books here that have different genres. One I'm going to mention that I don't have physically, but I read because of Murphy and I absolutely loved, and that was The Natural History of Dragons. I lent this to a friend and she's currently reading it, so that's why I don't have a physical copy. But I would describe this as, like, if you like the Fantastic Beasts movies as well as like Indiana Jones, like with the archaeology, that's almost the vibe that it felt like. And she's also trying to prove herself as a woman, and I just really enjoyed it. And it is, I want to say, a 4-book series, so I will definitely continue on with that series, and I would have never known if it wasn't me finding it through her channel. So yes, that is the first one. And then if you have seen her videos, you know that this next book is one of her, if not her absolute favorite, and that is The Lies of Locke Lamora. This is basically following Locke, and he grew up as an orphan, and then you read his, it goes back between him as a child and an orphan and him as an adult, and it's him coming up against enemies, and it's pirate based. So but I think kind of like my thing that I like about it too is kind of like the friendships in here, and yeah, just kind of like the human aspect, even though it's like also really fun and adventurous. I do plan on reading the second book. Yeah, and I actually even gifted my friend a copy of this because I feel like if you like Dungeons and Dragons, you might really enjoy this. So I totally understand the hype on that one. Then the next 2 books are by the same author, so I'm going to include that in this book, in this part. The author is Frederick Bachman, by the way. The first one I have is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, and this follows Elsa, and her grandma has passed away and leaves her kind of instructions to like say different things to neighbors. And I really like this one because it was told through the child's perspective, and there's some really difficult topics discussed in here. There's also like humorous notes, but I really think that there was some very good lessons, and I think the fact that it was told through the child's perspective really added that like innocence. So yeah, I definitely like, this is the second Frederick Bachman that I read, and just what he's known for like the humanity. This one I definitely recommend, and I definitely see why people like him as an author. And then the second one was Anxious People, which I had on my list for a while, and this one was described to me as being a little more humorous, which definitely I understand. It's about this character who it appears that he's robbing a bank, but he's not really robbing a bank, and it's just how people come together. So basically what happens is this guy, he's like running away from the police, and he crashes this open house, like real estate open house, and then you kind of meet this lady who goes there to look at houses kind of as a hobby, and you kind of learn about her as you go, and you like for me at first it's like, this lady is so annoying, but you warm up to her, and I think that that's kind of the trend I see in a lot of his books. And by the end of these books, your heart melts. And so I totally understand. I totally get it. And I want to read all his books. I have a few more that I haven't read, so definitely I really love Frederick Bachman as well. Then the next one is a little bit of a different vibe, and I'm just going to show you the title and then I'll talk about it. It's My Dark Vanessa. This is not one that I am comfortable saying like I enjoyed or didn't enjoy. It basically follows two perspectives, or not perspectives, but timelines, and we follow the character of Vanessa. We follow her when she's younger and in boarding school, and then as an adult, and she deals with a predatory relationship that she had with her teacher, and you get flashbacks to when that was happening, and then in present day there's stories coming out about it, not just her but also other people talking about it, and it's her dealing with that and a lot of trauma in different ways that came out of that. So that's the nature of the story, and that's why I'm not saying like, oh, I love this book, or I didn't like this book, because also the author was writing at the beginning that she had kind of personal experience with it, the topic, so I don't want to be like, oh, I'm judging your story either. But I will say her writing is really beautiful, and I think she's a very talented author, and my heart was breaking as I was reading these things. So although I'm not going to be like 5 stars to something like that, or like 0 stars, or I'm not going to like rate it per se, I do think that if you are up to reading a book like that, that it is a really good book. Then I have the last two, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is kind of the entry point I think a lot of people have for her work, and it's basically she's going to her new husband's house, and everybody is kind of not very fond of her just because of his other wife, and oh, he's still in love with her. But I will say the twist ending that you find out at like there's a build up, and you can kind of tell it's very ominous in its tone, and then when you get to the ending, it's definitely like, whoa, the reveal and everything is like fast paced. My grandma is reading it very slowly, and I tried recommending it to one of my co-workers as well, because I do really like this book, but a lot of people have seen movie adaptations, and so they're like, oh, but I do, even if you've seen the movie adaptation and maybe you know the reveal, the writing, the source material is beautiful, and not spooky, but just very kind of ominous in a lot of ways. And so I do recommend you read if you haven't. And then last but not least, the book that I read because of Ravina Peer is Peter Pan. And I really, first of all, this edition, I don't know if you can see, this is the Barnes & Noble, really, and then it has like hooks on the inside. So first of all, this edition is really beautiful. I really loved reading this, just the adventure, but also just growing up, and you know, do you leaving your childhood behind, or do you take it with you? Yeah, I think that this is a really beautiful story. I think that the one thing I will say that was really hard reading this is I was having the Disney version stuck in my head, and so it was kind of difficult to go past that, but I do recommend reading this. And this, again, edition I got at Barnes & Noble, I think for like, oh my gosh, for $8. So those are the books I read because of Ruffin Napier. I really think that every book that I read I enjoyed, and I definitely love her recommendations. So again, if you've never heard of her, or you kind of maybe watched one of her videos before, you should go subscribe. And she, like I said, she does a good variety. As you can see, these are all books that or authors that she's recommended on her channel, so she does a lot of different varieties. And yeah, I have some other people in mind, but this took, I'm not gonna lie to you, this took a while, so we'll see. But I'm finally posting this, and let me know what you are reading in the comments below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.